How to know if you have done the work properly and your manifestation is about to come for sure. And also what to do if you're not there yet. We are going to cover both of these topics. And the reason I want to talk about this is because a lot of the comments that I receive are very much focused on the 3D, on the circumstances, but this is happening in the 3D, but that is happening in the 3D, but this is the case, this is the fact. And manifestation in reality has nothing to do with your 3D, even though we are manifesting our desires in order to experience them in the 3D. But before it actually manifests in the 3D fully, the 3D is not your problem. It's none of your business. It has nothing to do with your manifestation. And I know this is a difficult one, but when you understand how manifestation works, it helps. If you need a more personalized guidance about your specific situation, you can book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. Also check out my full day manifestation routine course. The link is also in the description box below. And let's talk about how to know if you have actually done the work and your manifestation is about to come. We know this both from Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy. I often mention these two together because their teachings are very similar, if not the same. The wordings are different, their formulations are different, but they teach the same thing and both are amazing. Neville Goddard says this in many different ways. From Joseph Murphy, he is very much focused on beliefs, assumption, thoughts, even though he also covers imagination in all its forms, and Neville Goddard also covers both imagination, thoughts, beliefs, assumption, etc. What they both say is that, first of all, your 3D reality is the mirror of your inner world, so your imaginal acts, your repeated thoughts that then become beliefs. So whatever you're currently experiencing in the 3D is the result of that. So when you are manifesting something different and you are taking the current 3D experience as a reference, it's not helping you because your 3D is going to continuously show what you are thinking and focusing on or imagining, all that you're doing in your mind. When you are doing manifestation techniques, in reality, even though I just said, and it is true that we want to experience it in the 3D because otherwise why are we doing it? In reality, what is happening is that you are not changing anything in the 3D. Your job is not with the 3D or with the other person or with anything outside of you. Your job is to change the stories in your mind, your beliefs, your assumptions, your repeated thoughts and imaginal acts. The only way to know that you have done it properly is when it changes inside of you. I often ask this question to my clients when they come in with this complaint that I have done all this work and it's not working. As soon as I ask, have your story changed? What are you focusing on? They pause, and often the answer is actually no. So that is the only problem. When you don't see any movement in the 3D, when you don't see things happening in the 3D, the only place for you to go is back into your imagination and ask yourself, but have I actually changed my thoughts, my assumptions, all my imaginal acts about this? Joseph Murphy puts it similar to this. When you want to know that you have done it properly, when you want to know that your manifestation is sure about to come, observe your thoughts. When you have done your work to the point where you can simply not believe that it's not yours, you cannot believe anything else other than the fact that your desired manifestation is already yours, then you're good. You're done. Neville Goddard also says similar things to this, that regardless of what is happening in the 3D, look at your imagination. What your automatic thoughts during the day are a very good indicator when you are actually not doing your techniques. What are your thoughts? And this is why, so if your thoughts are from the end or similar to your affirmations, similar to your imaginal acts, your automatic thoughts, then you have changed, because you are the only one that needs to change. The other person who is involved in your manifestation is going to mirror your inner world. They're just going to mirror what you are holding as true in your mind. So when you look at them and you complain that this person hasn't changed, or your bank account, or whatever else you are manifesting, your job, your grades in school, your focus is on the wrong problem. And I understand it's annoying, but it's just not going to help your manifestation. So every time you are annoyed that the 3D is not helping, is not showing you your desired outcome, go inside. But have I changed? What are my beliefs about this? What are my stories? What are my immediate thoughts about this situation? Am I still angry with the person? If you're not, you can't manifest a happy situation when you're holding on to anger and frustration and whatever happened during the last argument you probably had, or old stories, because your subconscious mind is not judging your mental activity. It's just going to manifest whatever you keep giving to it. Therefore, the only way to know that your manifestation is sure about to come is when your inner stories have changed. Now, what to do if they haven't? I go about this in different ways. Like, first of all, the most obvious thing to do is what Joseph Murphy actually says. When you affirm your affirmations, your truths, he calls it, make sure to not contradict them. What this means is that make sure to not give in to the negative story when it comes up. So he even says, don't even finish a negative statement. But you need to be aware. You need to be aware of what is going on in your mind to notice that now you're thinking negatively. Don't even finish that sentence. But even if you do, even if you notice later, make sure to go back to your affirmations or any imaginal acts that you're doing. That's one thing. That's the basic manifestation. What to call it? It's not even a technique. Maybe it is a technique. Call it a technique. Mental diet. Something that helps me, and I have used this in the past, and I think I have a video where I mention it. I will link the video. I think I'm mentioning it in the description box below. It's a success story. So check that out. In one of Neville Goddard's lectures, he explains how imagination is God, and God is the only creative power, and you are only creating through imagination, not from anything physical. So it's imagination that is creating your physical experiences, the current one, the next one, the previous one. And he says that you can't be separated from God because it's your imagination, and you can't be separated from your imagination, which means that, first of all, you can't fool God. And this comes from the Bible. I don't remember the exact phrase, but I think you can't mock God. It says something like that, which means that you can't actually believe one thing but pretend everything is different, because what you actually hold as true in your mind, that is what is going to manifest in your reality. Which also means that when you are thinking thoughts on purpose / affirming or imagining stuff, it's not, like Joseph Murphy says, it's not mumbo jumbo. This is his words, by the way. You are actually doing the creative work when you are using your mind on purpose on things that you want to manifest, which means, in Neville Goddard's words, that God is my wonderful human imagination. It's in my mind. It's in my imagination. It is my imagination. So when I have the thought of my manifestation is mine. So I don't know, whatever you're affirming, SP and I are in a loving, happy, committed relationship. SP is in love with me. I am making an X amount of money every day, every month, etc., etc. Whatever you're affirming. He says, if I heard the thought, it means God heard it. It can't go past God. Like, it can't be outside of you. It can't. Do you see what I mean? You can't think a thought and it's impossible that God, your imagination, won't hear it. And try this. It really gives you confidence and calms you down when you think to yourself, wait a minute, I affirmed and I heard the thought, which means if I heard it, God heard it. So he knows that, like, the work is being done. I have nothing to worry about. Again, unless you then go back and start thinking the negative thoughts, because then it becomes the same. If you heard it, God heard it, now that's what's going to manifest. Roughly put, don't freak out. It's not going to manifest just because you were worried for a moment. But what I'm saying is, don't persist in it. Don't persist in the negative, instead persist in the positive. So it really, really helps when you realize that, wait a minute, I affirmed what I wanted. What I wanted was in my affirmations, so God knows. It's done. So this is just the explanation of why it's done. It's done. If you heard it, God heard it. If you stay there, though, this is the trickiest part here. Keep persisting in your assumption. That is, again, a Neville Goddard term. Neville says this over and over again. Persist in your assumption that it is done. It's the same thing as don't contradict it. Like Joseph Murphy says. Don't contradict your affirmations. Which means that it doesn't mean that you can't have negative thoughts. You are not going to control your thoughts right away. It's a practice. Your negative story, the old story that you were used to, let's put this in the past, you were used to, will come up at first for a bit. If you don't give into it and you come back to your new truth, new affirmations, this will fade away. At some point, it will fade away because of your practice. It doesn't happen on its own. You have to do the work. When the negative fades away, your mind starts accepting this new story as true. And now we're back to the beginning of this video where I said that then this becomes your new truth, and this is the only story you have in your mind. Your manifestation work, all it does is it replaces the unwanted story with the wanted story, with the desired story, desired outcome. When it's been replaced, this negative story, the negative beliefs, the worries, etc., they're gone. At some point, they're gone. You're not going to deal with this forever. When you do the work, and this is one of the reasons why I so often say, just do the work. Because at first, it might even seem super difficult, really hard. You have many negative thoughts. There are a lot of things to work with. But as you do the work, they become less and less and less and less. And you reach a point where you get to this famous knowing that it's yours. And the knowing is also in your mind. It's in your thoughts. Your automatic thoughts are from the end. But that only happens as a result of the practice, of practicing this over and over again. You're simply creating a new habit. You're creating new mental habits. And that is how you know that your manifestation is yours. And yes, sometimes you can look at the 3D and know that it's not there, but the main feeling is that I somehow know it's mine. It's mine. I have nothing to worry about because I know it's mine. Everything changes on the inside when you do your manifestation practices / techniques. It's all the same. So when you reach this, if you aren't there yet, that is why the 3D is still showing you the old. So if you're frustrated with the 3D, your job is still in your mind. By the way, let me share this also before I end the video. Something that can help, really, if the 3D is your problem, like it's not moving, it's not happening, start telling yourself it's moving, it's actually moving. The 3D is actually moving. I'm seeing a lot of evidence in the 3D that my manifestation is coming. It's right in front of me. Try this. It sounds ridiculous, but it helps because your mind only knows what you're telling it regardless of, you can look at the 3D that is a complete mess and tell yourself, because this is happening on the inside, what you're thinking and telling yourself, self-talk and all that. Tell yourself that the 3D is exactly the way I want it to be. My SP is here, my money is here, I have my job, my body is the one, looks the way I want to, I'm fully healthy, etc., etc. And see how it changes the way you feel. It changes your state. And that's basically what we are after when we are doing all this work. It's the change on the inside. That's how you know your manifestation is yours. And yes, if you fall into the trap of the old story, the negative story, you know what to do. Go back to your affirmations. And your manifestation comes as a result of this, not as a result of anything you do in the 3D. There's nothing you can do in the physical to help your manifestation because your physical experiences, even the things you physically do, are a manifestation of your thoughts, beliefs, assumptions, imaginal acts, everything that is going on the inside. So I really hope this helped. And I really hope, actually, that you won't give up on your desires just because the 3D is showing you the opposite. This is where a lot of people give up and jump to the conclusion that this is not working, not everything can be manifested. If you give this an honest try, that alone, I promise you this is the last thing I'm going to say before I end the video. That alone, when you're concluding based on the 3D that it's not here yet, it already tells me as a manifestation coach that you're not there yet in your mind. Because if you are there in your mind fully, the 3D doesn't bother you as much or at all. You reach to a point where the 3D doesn't bother you at all, and there it's just a matter of the 3D conforming. I don't want to say time because anything can happen any minute. And yes, sometimes it can take time, but keep in mind that anything can happen any minute, but it depends on your mind, on your own story. So that was it for today. And again, I really hope that this was helpful for you to at least not give up on your desires. There's always a way to do it. If something is not working for you, there's always something else that you can try that will work for you. And if you need a more personalized help and guidance with your manifestations about your specific situation, book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. I'll be happy to help you. Have a beautiful day and see you in the next video.